Hello, and welcome to the screencast for Investigation 2 of FOSS's Earth History Kit. In this investigation, it really serves as an engage opportunity for the students by introducing them to the Grand Canyon, which is what the students are going to be focusing on for the next few weeks. Many of the students may have heard of the Grand Canyon, but most, if not all, of my students, in my experience, have never been to the Grand Canyon, and actually they know very little about it, either about its natural history or about the human history of the Grand Canyon. Matter of fact, I'm even happy if they can even find the Grand Canyon on a map. So that's what this investigation is about. It's just to kind of orient them to where the Grand Canyon is and give a little bit about the natural and human history of it. The investigation is in 4 parts and should take about a week to cover. I'm going to focus primarily, do a little bit about part 1, River Song, but I'm going to focus on part 2 of the investigation, because they lead into parts 3 and 4, which are important for engaging the students for the rest of the unit. The unit begins with a video that comes with a kit called River Song. Now, I'll show you a little bit of this video right now. Let me just launch it. And as you'll see, one of the things you'll notice right away about this video is that it is somewhat dated. I don't know what year it was made, but I'm guessing probably sometime in the 80s, if not earlier. For that reason, it also runs about 40 minutes long, a full class period for some of us. And that can be a little bit slow for some of our students for what they used to do. However, it does give a nice overview of the Grand Canyon, its natural history, its human history. It also introduces the students into the real-life character of John Wesley Powell. And he's a real-life character, a Civil War hero, who's one of the first white men to go into the Grand Canyon and explore a lot of it. And we'll be using his example in a number of the upcoming investigations. So for that reason, it can be good. But as I said, just caution you, some of the students might find it a little bit slow compared to what they're used to in this day and age. Let's go back to here. Another thing that they're going to be doing is doing a field trip to the Grand Canyon. And let me show you that. Now, you can access that from the website, which I showed you in the introductory video. You can go down to the multimedia area, and there's a number of different slideshows that you can look at. Okay, there's multimedia, there's slideshows, there are videos. What I'm going to show you is the resource room, which looks like this. I'm running this off the CD-ROM, by the way, because I'm on a PC. However, if you're on a MacBook, again, it looks probably better on running it from the website, because the CD-ROM does not work at all on the MacBooks. At least I haven't figured out how to make it work. You would go to the auditorium, and you could go to Powell's River Trip. This is again right after the video that shows about called River Song. This is again just to give you a little more information about John Wesley Powell, some of the history about who he was, and again just serves to further engage the students about this person and what he did. I would not spend a lot of time on this. If you're looking to tighten someplace, this would be someplace that you might be able to tighten up. You could find other resources on YouTube or other videos that would give you some more background information. However, it does also provide an opportunity to go into a little bit more about some of the history of the Grand Canyon. So that's a call on your part. After the River Song video and the slideshow, students would then be given the Journal of John Wesley Powell to read either in class or as a homework assignment. And again, the whole purpose is just to kind of get them into the mode of thinking about the Grand Canyon and how it was explored over 150 years ago. Almost 150 years ago. If you do have an ELA colleague, this might be an opportunity to work with your ELA colleague to look at some primary source material and to expand in that area. However, I wouldn't spend too much time here. Again, the purpose is just to get the students familiar with the location that many of them have not heard about and don't know where it is or even what it looks like. What you want to get to is part 2. Oh, one part I forgot to mention is students have an opportunity to take notes as they watch the River Song video and see what the John Wesley Powell expeditions were like. What you really want to get to is part 2, which is when they do a virtual field trip to the Grand Canyon. There are 3 parts to this. There's a multimedia panoramic. Let me show you that. Go back to the main room, go to the expeditions, Grand Canyon Rim, and you're going to be going to Pima Point. What this is nice about is if you have a computer that students can use or computer workstations, you can divide the students into groups. This is one of the stations, Pima Point Multimedia Panoramic, and what it allows students to do is they can click and they can look up, they can look down, they can do a 360-degree view as if they were standing at this location along the rim. It allows them to zoom in, zoom out. You can use the Shift and Control keys to do that. There are also hotspots, which you'll see it turns into a little arrow. You can also highlight them. And anywhere you see a hotspot, you can click on it and it will zoom in. And it's just really an open-ended exploration of what the Grand Canyon looks like at this location. While students are doing that, you might have a second group looking at the resource books, looking at a series of about 6 photos, 7 photos of the Grand Canyon from different perspectives. And then a third group might be looking at just a series of rocks. At this point, do not tell them what these rocks are. Don't give them any information. It's really open-ended exploration on their part. Because what they're going to be doing is they're going to be filling out this Grand Canyon field trip guide and just gathering some information about the Grand Canyon, the views, about the rocks that they see from the Grand Canyon, about the field trip there. And they're going to be using these to then generate questions that they have about the Grand Canyon. They'll be working by themselves and then with groups and coming up with a set of questions. There's a whole guided activity where they come up with about 5 questions that they then present to the class, and then you can post around the room. And ideally, these questions will be a lot of the things that they'll be answering in the coming weeks of the investigation. Again, don't worry about the content. You don't want to give them any answers to their questions just yet. Don't tell them what the rocks are. It's really just to kind of engage them in the Grand Canyon so that then they can launch into additional investigations coming up. So that about wraps it up for investigation 2. It's a fun investigation. Students get very excited, in my experience, with seeing this for the first time, and they can have a lot of fun with it. Good luck.